everybody, thank you for clicking on today's video. Today's case is on Justin Harris, who disappeared in 2004 from a group home for youth in Casper, Wyoming. Now this case does have some similarities to the Serenity Dillard case that I did a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't seen that video and you don't know who Serenity Dillard is, she is a little girl who disappeared from a youth home in 2019, and this youth home was located in South Dakota. If you are interested in watching that video, I will post the link right now so that you can watch it after you watch this one. Justin Philip Harris was born on August 20th, 1990 to parents Philip Harris and Stephanie Sidebottom. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Justin or what his life was like before he disappeared because there isn't a whole lot of information out there. But I do know that he had a sister and that his parents went through a nasty battle for custody of the siblings while they were getting divorced. But it is known that Justin was a very shy and timid child, but he was super smart and did very well in school. His dad has stated that he always got straight A's. His dad says he was kind, considerate, helpful, and lovable. He really liked cars and trucks and often drew pictures of them. For some reason, prior to 2004, I couldn't find an exact date, Justin's mother turned he and his sister over to the state. Why she did this is beyond me. I don't know if she just couldn't handle raising two kids on her own. I don't know if there were issues in the home. But if that was the case, why not just give them to their dad? Their dad wanted custody of them, and from what I understand, Justin really wanted to live with his dad. Perhaps she had a good reason for not wanting the children to be with their father, or maybe she just didn't want him to win. I mean, people can be pretty petty when it comes to, you know, winning custody of their children, but they can also be very protective of their kids. So, I mean, we really don't know the situation. Whatever the reason, Justin and his sister were now in state custody, and Justin was bounced around to multiple foster homes. He did have a habit of running away from these foster families when he was upset, and since the foster placements weren't really working out, he was placed in the R.L. Mills Home for Boys in July of 2003. This home provided care to boys ages 12 to 17 that had emotional and behavioral issues, and they were placed there by the court system. Staff members of the facility have said that Justin was doing very well there. He was doing good with his schoolwork. He was getting along just fine. However, on the early morning of February 15th, 2004, the residents of the home were gathering for breakfast, and Justin didn't show up to eat. They figured that he was just still asleep, you know, that he was sleeping in, and around 7 a.m. they went into his room to check on him. Now, at first glance, it seemed that Justin was snuggled up under his covers sleeping. But when they walked over and tried to rouse him, they discovered that Justin wasn't in his bed. The little mound that they had seen were just a pile of clothes that had been shoved under there to make it look like a body was laying there, and Justin was nowhere to be found. Now, they obviously searched all the rooms in the home, and they finally figured out that it was likely Justin had snuck out. Now, the average temperature in Wyoming in February is pretty darn cold. If he left the home the night before, it most likely would have been absolutely freezing outside. They did say that he took his coat and snow boots with him, but still, that wouldn't be enough clothing to withstand the conditions for an extended period of time. Now, Justin was 13 years old, but he was kind of small. He was only 5 foot and 110 pounds. Authorities were contacted, though I'm not sure if it was immediately or if, you know, they waited and did some searching first and then contacted authorities. But authorities did show up, and around 70 members of law enforcement and public safety searched for Justin around the area of the home and the city of Casper. They had helicopters searching from the air and still found no sign of Justin anywhere. Now, one of the first theories was that maybe Justin was trying to get to Oklahoma, where his dad lived. His father also had to consider that something maybe could have happened to him inside the group home and it was being covered up. No evidence of a crime or a cover-up were found during the investigation, though. I know they did conduct polygraph tests on some of the family members. I'm sure they probably did some on the facility staff as well, but I couldn't find any information on what the results of those tests were. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, along with the United States Postal Service, distributed close to 40,000 flyers with Justin's picture on it. The 18 Wheels Angels also helped in hanging up flyers. They are a national missing persons locator program spearheaded by the nonprofit organization Project Jason. The program enlists the aid of truck drivers and business travelers to place posters of missing persons along their routes as they travel. There were sightings of Justin reported, but apparently nothing came of them. There are conflicting opinions on Justin's mental state. The director of the home, Dick Dressang, has stated that Justin was developmentally disabled and that he required antidepressants and psychiatric medications every single day, and that he only functioned at the level of a 6 or a 7-year-old. Now, Justin's dad completely denies this. He said that his son did not have any developmental issues and that he was just shy. He doesn't believe that his son was mentally challenged at all. Now, if he really didn't have any disabilities like his father has adamantly stated, can you imagine what it was like for him being in that group home? I mean, being treated like something is wrong with you and being given psychiatric meds and antidepressant meds every day to control you. It had to have been awful, and I can't really blame him for wanting to get away if that was the case. I just wish he hadn't felt like running away was his only option, if that is what happened. It is also possible that something could have happened in the group home and the whole thing was hidden and cleaned up. Law enforcement didn't find any evidence of that, but you really have to look at all possible scenarios. Just like in the Serenity Dillard case, why weren't there more preventative measures to keep kids from leaving? I couldn't find any information on whether this group home had any special door locks or alarms or even cameras, so I'm kind of assuming they didn't. And if they did, Justin, who was only 13 and supposedly had developmental delays, he was able to surpass all of them. His father, Philip, was a truck driver, so it's possible maybe he tried to catch a ride with another truck driver, hoping that he could get in contact or reach his dad, or he could have possibly been abducted. He could have had plans for someone to pick him up, or he could have just tried to hitchhike and ran into foul play. He could have been abducted by someone who saw a kid walking alone in the middle of the night, or he could be perfectly fine somewhere living under a different name, living a new life, but he's been gone for 16 years now with no answers for his family. The R.L. Mills group home was not out in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't out in the wilderness. It was smack dab in the middle of town. So if Justin ventured out and got hurt on his own, it's likely he would have been found. They either would have found his body or found him hurt somewhere and been able to provide him with some help, in my opinion. At the time of his disappearance, Justin was 5 feet tall and 110 pounds with blonde hair and green eyes. He does wear eyeglasses and was last seen wearing a gray coat and black snow boots. If you have any information on what happened to Justin or his whereabouts, please contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 800-843-5678. or the Casper Police Department at 307-235-8278. Please share Justin's flyer. Please share this video. Please keep his story out there. His poor family, I haven't seen where his mom has really made a lot of comments on it. I'm sure she cares. Maybe she's just doesn't want to talk about it anymore, but I know his dad is still actively searching for him, and I hope and pray that Justin is out there somewhere. Please take a look at his age progressed photo. He very well could be out there. Or if you know who could have been involved in his disappearance, maybe you think you know something, but you're not sure if it's significant. If you were in the Casper area on that day in 2004, please go to police. No tip is too small. You have no idea how insignificant something may seem to you, and it may be very important to a case, not just this one, but any case. It doesn't matter how many of these missing person cases I do, it still baffles me every time there's a case where there's no clues, no evidence, no sightings. I just don't understand where these people go. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my new subscribers. Thank you to my old ones who are always supporting me. I appreciate all of you so very much. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Casey and I post videos every single Wednesday on the missing person cases that haven't received a ton of exposure. And if you would like to support me, I would appreciate it so much if you give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. I am posting my entire missing playlist on the screen right now. Please check it out and I will see you all next week. Bye.